Okay, so we're going to continue using different media on our horse. The next media that we're going to use is colored pencils. And colored pencils work similar to graphite in the fact that you're layering layers, but this is going to be obviously in color instead of in black and white. So I'm going to start probably with a light color, the yellow color. I am kind of looking at my picture to look at where shadows are. See, there's a shadow there. It's a little lighter in the middle, a little lighter right there. So I'm just keeping that in mind as I'm shading and adding color. When I'm using color pencil, I like to kind of go in small circular motions. Obviously, because I am starting with a light color, it's going to be a little harder to see at the beginning. But I'm just going to go ahead and lay in this light yellow for the highlights. I'm going to go ahead and do that on both of the legs. I'm not pushing really hard. And I'll do it on this one as well. When you're working in colored pencil, you kind of want to build up the layers at the same time so that everything looks similar and like it belongs together. So you're going to go from light to dark. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding in this light brown. And I'm keeping in mind the areas that I see that have highlights. Again, I'm still not pushing that hard. I'm just kind of building up the color right now. Like I said, just going in little small like ovals. If you push too hard, you will not be able to get the layers of color on your paper. And I'm being very careful about this black oil pastel so I don't get it all over the place. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to a darker brown. You do want to make sure that your pencils are nice and sharp when you do this. If they get too dull, they can damage the paper and start to make lines in it. And then it's hard to get the color to stick on your paper. And again, this is manila paper, it's practice paper, so you're not going to be able to get as many layers as you would with a nicer paper, because this paper doesn't have a whole lot of tooth to it. Alright, I think that's a pretty good base layer. Now I'm going to go in with the even darker brown, and I'm going to start looking at where the shadows really are on the leg, and I'm going to start darkening those areas up, especially like this leg right here is in the back, so it's super dark. So I am pushing a little bit harder with this one. And I'm not going all the way to the edge because there's a little bit of highlight there on the leg. So I'm leaving a little bit of that lighter color to shine through. Go ahead and bring this closer so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm seeing there's kind of a highlight on the back of the leg right there. So I'm just going in the middle and building up a darker value in the middle. I'm going in and seeing where the darker areas are here, like under his knee. Remember, you can always go darker. It's a lot harder to get it to lighten up after you've put down too much color. So that's why we slowly layer things as we go. I'm just kind of looking at the shapes that these shadows are making. And kind of shading in that way. And go ahead and color in this part of the tail as well. And just to make it look more like hair, I'm going in and I'm kind of pushing a little bit harder to make those lines for the hair of the tail. And another good color I like to use for shadows is blue. It's good to kind of darken up some areas and darken up this back leg. Kind of add more of a shadow to it. I can see like the paper's already starting to say that is enough layers. But see how that blue kind of really darkens up those shadows. Again, this is just for practice. When we get our nicer paper, you'll be able to add a lot more layers and depth to this. And for the ground, you could do brown, you could do green, really doesn't matter, whatever your preference is. But as you're coloring the ground, if you want it to be grass, you're going to go up and down. If you wanted to do dirt, I would probably color it this way, right? Whatever direction you decide to go in, I would stay in that direction. So I would not, now that I've colored horizontally, I would not go in and color it vertically. And if I wanted to add maybe just a little bit of grass, I could go in and kind of add grass. And now that I'm adding grass, like since the grass will probably, you know, stand up a little bit, I can do that in a different direction to add some texture. We'll add some right here by the bottom of his feet, right? But as I'm adding more dirt, like I'm still gonna go in the same direction. You're gonna also use blue to make some of the grass a little bit darker. Like so. So I'm not gonna do this whole part in color pencil because it's gonna take quite a while. As you can see, you're just layering up and building colors, or building layers of colors, and you start light and then you gradually get darker.